What up, YouTube Digital? I was over at Walmart, and I saw a new knife that I haven't seen. I was checking out the Kershaw Blur Tanto, and it's pretty cool, except for it is a spring assist, and I gotta say that I love Kershaw's spring assisted knives, speed safe. And I like that blur, except for it was the thumb opening instead of a flipper. And so I was like, ah, shit, man. If it just had that, I would probably spend the $60 because it was made pretty damn good and everything else. And then I looked over and I saw this one. Now, what really got me into the Kershaw Speed Safes was the Kershaw Oh So Sweet. Good knife for the price. Kind of light. Not as light as, it's about, nah. I'd have to get a really, I'd have to get a scale. Because they're about the same. This is primarily what I've been carrying if I carry something. The Kara 2. I also got the Metal Arc 2, which is a smaller one. They're the same knife, it's just, you know, daddy, mommy. And then my wife has the Robin 2, which is the next one down. Most companies have a policy about blades, so the Robin 2 fits right into most of them. I think the Robin 2 might even be under the new NSA allowance. But anywho, so I saw this one, and it's the same handles as the Oh So Sweet. It's that nylon filled shit. And I bought a Volt 2 not that long ago, and I gotta send it back to Kershaw because they fucked up the you can see it's not, has that weird squiggly, you fucking asshole. It has that weird squiggly type of texture to it. But it's pretty much, I think it's the same. I gotta find my Oh So Sweet. I think it's the same fucking handles. Really, I think it's an Oh So Sweet with the, but it's got a pretty aggressive draw point tanto. And you know, the feel of it is nice. It could have had a little jimping right here. But, I mean, it feels nice. There's a little dip right here. So, I mean, it feels good. And, to be honest, I like to, if I was in a confrontation, I like the, whole, whatever they do, call it. Because I like the ability, if I was to have to use a knife on someone, I, unlike Zimmerman, am not just going to sit there and fucking slice someone's throat. I might twist it like this. And I know it's not the proper grip, but just to drag the tip. Now, why drag the tip? Because even though the tip is sharp, if I just drag that tip like that, real quick across like somebody's arm or something like that, it's going to very much get their attention, but it's not going to fucking kill them. And most people will back the fuck off. Now, another... I gotta tighten that thing up. Another deal people have a problem with is people talk shit about the 8CR 13MOV. And that's what this is. And I use the shit out of it. Fuck, I was just opening a bottle of Pepsi with it earlier today. On the blade edge, too. You can see I did do a little bit of a nick. Right about there, but listen. So not too bad. Now, so I could clean that up super simple. It's actually a pretty decent steel. Sure, it's not a custom knife, 154 cm or anything like that. But I was playing around with it, and believe it or not, take this flimsy bag right here. As you can see, there's nothing. Did I cut that side? No, I didn't. I've been playing around cutting this up. And I'm going to take this. I'm just going to hold it. I am going to hold it tight down here at the bottom because I don't want this thing to fly off. But I mean, it did a nice clean cut in it. Just that. Here's another thing. I'll do it backwards too. That's not a clean cut. See how it kind of more ripping and everything else? Well, I'm not a fucking pussy. You get people's attention. Ooh, that looked pretty good. You get people's attention pretty quick, and you're not fucking them up. Now if I turn this over, what will happen is because of the blade being there, and there's an edge, it's naturally going to remove the skin, and it's going to part the waves, so it will keep sinking itself automatically deeper and deeper. So if I swipe like this, I can actually sink probably most of that tip into somebody's skin and go through all 3 layers of their skin. But if I go like this, I could just skip across the top, come back, and they got a big notification that if they get closer, I can fucking punch them right there. So do whatever you want to do, but that's one of the reasons why I like Tantos. Oh, look, it's been a couple. You can see there's a couple little red marks there, but trust me, you can feel it strong enough that you know that the knife ain't fucking around. Okay. But overall, it's a pretty good. Lockup is good. I know you can't see it, but it's pretty dead center. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but then I look at the tip. It's a little bit to one side. You can see that's a little, let me see, the tip. It's a little bit to this side. But both of them have liners, so not too bad. But for 20 bucks, I got a little fucking knife. And I mean, it feels good right-handed. Now, I don't like the way that actually, yeah, I do like pocket clip where it is. I carry right tip down because when I pull out, when I pull it out of my pocket, I want to kind of simulate, because I've learned this too in going for a knife, is most of the time if you're going for a knife you're probably being robbed. So I'll simulate getting my wallet. Now this is, of course, is nobody's behind me. But if I'm dead on with you, I am going to twist my body and act like I'm reaching around to grab my wallet, but really I'm grabbing my knife out. And I want my knife just like this when I pull it out, because the first thing I'm going to do is turn it, flick it, and go. So that's me. Everybody has their own deal. Look, my wound is almost as good as Zimmerman's. Fuck, I should kill myself now. So, you know, if you can't afford, like, a better knife, there is nothing wrong with this. And I know that there's some fucking knife snobs on YouTube that say, oh, you gotta have a fucking SOG or a goddamn fucking, you know, whatever the fuck. This is one of the best opening fucking knives you're gonna get. That's not, you know, they consider this assisted, not switchblade. So, this is even Cali legal, I think, still. It was when I lived there. So, you're not going to get too much better than this. I mean, I guess you could maybe have somebody pimp you up some G10 scales for it. And a G10 spine or something, you know, but actually that one's pretty decent. It's nylon, but it's okay. So, if you don't have the money and you're looking for a cheap knife for self-defense, then this one's model number 1835 TBLKST for Tanto Black. And again, 8CR13 MOV. I like Tantos for self-defense more than spear points and stuff. That's me. It's also naturally, but for like utilitarian, it's kind of, you know, natural. Like cutting a box, you're naturally already doing this angle, so you got a nice, you know, better cut. Yeah, it's a pretty aggressive Tano, but still like it. But the most important thing about the Tanto, especially if you want to do a reverse strike like I was talking about, is, one, make sure the swedge in the back is not sharpened. Because, one, some state laws can fuck you. Two, it's not going to drag. It's going to sink in. But you want to make sure you keep that tip like it is. So, if you want to be able to use it for self-defense and everything else, buy two of them. Use one for utility and then use one for self-defense. But yeah, it's still not bleeding that bad. I don't know. There's a couple lines right there. And don't worry, I've branded myself before. Funny, I branded myself with car parts too. Long story, yeah. But yeah, the knife I was carrying when I got mugged. Well, I didn't get mugged because they didn't win, but was a butterfly tanto. I don't even know who the fuck made it. It could have been a bit. No, I think maybe it was a Parker. But these three kids asked me for a light, and I just kind of looked at them like, what the fuck? And then they wanted my money, and I did the same thing. I said, oh, okay, I don't want any problem. Because they had their knives out, and I just, moved to the side like I was going to get my wallet out. And really, I was pulling my knife out of my front pocket, and they didn't even know. Sleight of hand. So, there you go. I don't carry any money. Another thing I would always suggest, if you are able to knock a knife out of somebody's hand, never pick the fucker up unless you absolutely have to. Same with a gun or anything else. You do not want your fucking prints on a goddamn fucking weapon. Kick it away, kick it in a bush or something like that. Do not put your fucking prints on it. That's what saved my ass that day, because I was able to knock that knife right out of the kid's hand, and the other kid dropped his after he saw that I had them both. And they went home and told their mom that I tried to rob them. So I'm coming back from the fucking store with alcohol, and I'm like, I wasn't even going to call the cops. I figured they learned their lesson. And next thing I know, I'm being fucking gun pointed and everything else. And I'm like, look, I was a victim, not them. I said, if you go look in the bush, they didn't know that I kicked it in the bush. They thought I took their knife. But I kicked it in the bush. I never touched it. I said, you go take that to the lab. You ain't going to find my fucking prints on that motherfucker, but you'll find theirs. I didn't even get charged. I didn't get arrested. Did nothing. They did. So, remember, unless you have to, do not fucking touch their weapon. Because, god damn, if I would have touched it that day, oh Jesus Christ, I would have been fucked. I know, because I should have sat there and stayed and called the cops and everything else, but I was trying to be cool. Motherfucker. I was trying to be cool. I didn't stab the little fucker in the neck or anything. I was just trying to be cool. Let the little bastards take a little learning and let them go. But then they did that. So, oh shit. Not only is it over there, but I took a big fucking corner out of it. That's recycled flimsy as fuck paper. So, I think you passed the paper test. Don't. Nice snobs out there like Nutter and stuff like that. Don't give people shit because they can't afford a fucking, expensive ass knife. Don't look down on them. Because I'm gonna tell you this right now, in prison, they make their knives out of fucking anything they got. They'll take a toilet seat apart, fucking craft a knife out of that, and shank your stupid ass with it. And as you're bleeding to death on the fucking ground because they stabbed you 175 fucking times, and that's how they do it there, you're gonna learn that, gee, the 8 CR13 MOV wasn't a bad steal after all, now was it? Who was it? Snoop Dogg. Murder was a case. Toothbrushes scraping on the floor, waiting for the war to pop off. Peace.